Welcome back to Activism Uncensored. We have Elvis again today, my co-producer for this show. Welcome.
Hey everyone. Yeah, it's good to be back. It's been a while since we did one of these things, so we've got a lot to catch up on.
Mm-hmm. So, you've been down in London, haven't you, for the last 2 weeks?
Well, nearly, yeah. It was about 11 days in total since the week last Thursday, was it?
What's been going on in London?
Well, first of all, I was there with Just Up Oil helping to support the big one, big XR event. Lots of tents and outreach and different ways of talking to people about the climate. That was really good. I'll tell you a bit more about that later on. Yeah, it was pretty good the whole 4 days of the big one. A lot to go through, a lot to digest, and it was just fantastic. So yeah, and while I've been gone, you've been busy doing some one-to-one interviews. That's been really good, dude. So been really good to see.
Yeah, whilst you've been down in London, I've been doing one-to-one interviews that you can see on the channel, and I've also started the TikTok account. So Activism Uncensored is now on TikTok, and for some reason the number of views on TikTok have just dwarfed the channel. We've had about 200 views so far on this podcast on YouTube, and we've had about 6,000 views on TikTok for about 1 minute videos. Just trying to connect the two together and bring the audience from TikTok over to here. Do you know what? I'm just looking at my video right now, and with these pictures behind me, it looks pretty fucking cool, to be honest. Can you see that?
You happy with the background?
Yeah, I like my background now. That's for anyone who doesn't know, that's my dad. That's my dad riding his enduro motorbikes in the 1980s, doing jumps and stunts and all kinds of stuff.
Cool.
Did you see the logo that I created for the podcast?
Oh yeah, it's all good.
What do you think?
That's cool. It's not really something we talk about on the podcast.
Forget about what we talk about on the podcast.
Right.
This is just a recording of a genuine conversation between two people, So don't worry about what you can and can't talk about. Just let it flow naturally.
Yeah,
do you want to tell us a bit more about London?
YouTube. I'll put it as the logo for the YouTube channel.
Well, I'm just going to use it for the logo for anything. But can you tell us some stories about what happened in London? What you got up to?
Oh yeah, sure. Well, like I said, the first 4 days we were there supporting the big one. We had a little couple of tents and gazebo there, like a lot of people did. It was really good. We had people doing outreach, and we reckon around 2,000 sign-ins.
Wow.
Got for oil. Yeah, 2,000 sign-ups.
Wow. To take action,
yeah.
Is that like... So...
To get involved with small marches, to volunteer, to help out, with voluntary roles and stuff like that, or donations. So, yeah, they're still actually collating the data because there were that many sign-ups, and there's a great team of people ringing people up right now, getting people to get down there from like between 7 and 11 o'clock every weekday, and like midday every Saturday. And yeah, it's been amazing. And after the big one, the London region started for Just Stop Oil, because they're doing it region by region.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was London up first for their weeks. So every day, 7 o'clock, multiple marches round through London.
And these
which is fortunately still, a legal form of protest, even though they're trying to get legislation through at the moment to stop it. We'll have to keep a close eye on that this week. Yeah, and if if it does pass Parliament, I think we're going to have to maybe have a discussion about that as well, because that's a whole huge part of the way that Just Stop Oil are disrupting traffic at the moment, is with this perfectly legal slow march method that even, you know, James O'Brien and other public commentators have said that, you know, we've landed the perfect spot, the perfect, you know, legal Goldilocks spot
for now,
to be able to slow march and cause disruption without as much risk of arresters, you know, sitting in roads or gluing to roads and stuff. So about 6 or 7 marches have been happening at the same time, and we've got basically a base in Parliament Square every day between 7 and 11. Had some volunteers showing up and choosing to get involved with all kinds of things. There's a lot going on. It'd take me a long time to go through all the different roles people, but everyone's really keen to get involved in some way. So 2,000 sign-ups is huge. Yeah, dude.
Will you go through some of the roles that people can get involved with?
Yeah, there's lots. I mean, you don't have to physically be there in London to get involved. Even though a lot of people are coming on these slow marches, we've got a lot more ways that people can get involved. There's remote roles that people can do, like from their own homes. They can come and get into our back office team, which is a fantastic network of people all across the world. And that basically really supports the organisation by being there if anybody is on an action where there's a chance that they might get arrested. Then the back office are there to support them. They keep count of who's where. If they do end up in a police station,
spreadsheets,
then they are. And they coordinate with the police station support team to make sure that everybody's got someone to wait for them when they come out if they are on some sort of arrestable action. People can get involved with social media, helping to get us spread out on social media. Lots of ways that you can do that at the moment. There's accommodation as well. If you're able to accommodate a member of Just Stop Oil when their region's down in London, because remember it's 6 days out of 7 per week, with the other day being an in-person training for slow marches on Sundays. Then it's very important that we have, you know, people who are willing to let people spend time at their accommodation with this fantastic network as well. Like I said, there's loads. There's a lot to sort of get involved with. Whatever your skill sets are, I think it'd be you know, really useful to come onto one of the jobs for Zooms that they have. I think they're still running every Thursday, so come along, and there's a fantastic host for that. She's marvellous, and whatever you've got that you feel you can give to the organisation, she's there to help guide you in the right direction. So what we'll do, I guess we can try and post some links for that on the pages. What do you reckon, Josh?
I've just realised how many times we're both saying quite a lot. Yeah, I'm going to try.
Lots to talk. This is live.
Yeah, anyway, those all sound really amazing and like great options for people to get involved with, and it's good that we have them being set out like that. I'm doing it now as well. No, I think.
You know.
Stop it. So this this talk we want to put on in Manchester, I think that I'm going to record it all the way, make videos of it going through. So like recording, getting the leaflets, recording how we set the talk, you know, and getting that for the podcast. So an episode can be outreach in Manchester. We could be like, right, tomorrow we're going out town crying, and the next day we could be actually use town crying footage on the podcasts. I know you've got a lot of town crying footage on your computer, haven't you?
I do, yeah. But that's something we'd have to explain to people about. That's. Do you want to explain about that?
Town crying, yeah, I'll explain about that, since I've not talked about it on the podcast yet. That's basically where So what we'll do is we'll book a venue in a city in say Manchester, and we'll order a few thousand leaflets, and then what we'll do is we'll get a team of people together, maybe like 3 or 4 people, maybe 5 people, with a load of leaflets, and there's one person with a megaphone, and they are the town crier. So what's it now? They'll basically like climb up somewhere high in a very public place and start announcing about the talk and about climate change and about Just Stop Oil and all the reasons why, you know, we're protesting and the rest of it, and we're trying to get people's attention to take a flyer to come to the talk so that we can, you know, recruit them into Just Stop Oil. So these talks are happening up and down the country all the time for Just Stop Oil, and me and you, Elvis, are part of that mobilisation team for Just Stop Oil. So we are going to put our own talk on in Manchester and leaflet the hell out of it, basically. Plan to get 5,000 leaflets, use my megaphone, and get a group of people together. And I'm planning to do it in the Methodist Church, by the way, if anyone... the Methodist Church near Piccadilly Gardens.
Yeah, it's close to Piccadilly Gardens on Oldham Street.
Yeah, I'll mention the exact time and place and location on the podcast when I've actually got it all booked. But yeah, so...
Yeah, so... sorry. Got a bit distracted.
Well, also,
that's a great way for people to get involved at a local level, because I'm just going to big up the local groups Action Week, which is going to be starting from the 22nd of May, so there's still plenty of time for people to come along to one of our welcome talks and get involved, even at a local level. So there's a lot going on all over the country at the moment, and not just in London. If you are in London over the next few weeks, check out the website, check out what dates your region's going to be down there, because it's basically a 7-region rotation. Started with London, East of England this week, and so on and so forth, all 7 weeks. So, yeah, we're going to be mentioning that event a lot more, I think, in the coming podcasts. So, yeah. Everybody get down.
Yeah,
get down and get involved.
Yeah, everyone getting. First of all, you got to go to your talk and find out why you're going to be protesting. Then you have to go to your action training, so you remain non-violent throughout the action, and then you have to meet up with your team. So your local team, there'll be a group in your area. Get friendly with those guys, and then you're going out to London to go and shut down the capital city. You'll have your accommodation sorted, I assume, and you can also apply for expenses for travel as well. You'll just need to get time off work. That's the only issue with that. But if you're a student or you're retired, you know, and you can do it, then I would strongly suggest you look into it, because not only will you be standing up against the British government to demand something very reasonable, like no new oil or gas, you'll also be meeting lots of very interesting, intelligent, articulate people who are like-minded like yourself, and probably creating friendships and bonds that will last a lifetime. I can say that from personal experience. And another thing as well about taking action, it's like food for the soul, you know? If you've been looking at the climate crisis for a number of years and you know how serious it is, and it's really eating you up inside because you feel like you should be doing something, that you don't know what to do, this taking action can be the best thing for your mental health, because you are actually going out of your way to try and change the world, to try and save the world. So I don't regret a single action that I've ever done. They were all incredible life experiences, and they were for the right reasons. And I think if you're gonna sign up for action, that should be the reason to do it, really. That and, you know, protecting all that we love. Are you still there, Elvis?
Yeah, I am. Sorry, dude. We might have to take a cut there.
No, I'm still recording on my end.
Yeah, it's just the audio here. Just bear with.
Well, just get it back on and we'll re-edit it in. So what we're doing this episode is we're actually experimenting with a new to improve the quality of the podcast. You see, because me and Elvis are the co-creators of this podcast. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to record the audio on both sides of the conversation, so that when you hear Elvis's audio in this video on YouTube, it'll sound crisp and clear. So that's what Elvis is working on right now. You know, since I've got the stage all to myself,
I'm just checking where we got up.
Well, you just start the audio recording again when you can, and I'm just gonna keep going for a little bit until you're back, because I want to tell the viewers about this special moment when it's basically the night before an action when you've teamed up with people and you're going to either go block a road or you're either going to go and close an oil terminal or something along those lines, and you all know that you're all going to be arrested. It's either the night before or on the morning. You all huddle around in a circle if somebody organises this. If they forget to, I tend to push people to do it now, and just everybody goes round and gives the reason of what has driven them to this point. What personally for them, what personal reasons do they have for coming and doing this action and sacrificing their liberty, sacrificing maybe their livelihoods. You know, some of them were ruining their relationships with their husbands or wives or children for doing this. You know, it's a big sacrifice, and you're risking prison, you're getting a criminal record. What are your reasons to do that? And hearing those, roughly about between 10 and 20 people in a circle, and you hear each person, you know, tear-jerking reason of why they feel like they're out of options and this is what they have to do now. That hearing that in person is really special, and people who haven't taken action before, I've never actually experienced that, because you're not allowed to record those reasons. You know, you're not allowed to record the reasons for doing that, because it's a private, and you can't be there unless you're actually going to be going to do the action that day. So it's kind of a very private, personal thing, and it's a moment that it's. Have you experienced that, Elvis?
Oh yeah, and I've seen people and met a lot of people who have gone from not knowing that, and then afterwards, and it's really important, you know. How about you?
What?
How about you? Is that something that you see happen to a lot of people?
How they
feel?
So, when I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about the Scotland action from last year, where we shut down the oil terminal, and it was like 3 in the morning, and there was about 15 of us hiding in a bush by the side of a park around the corner from the oil terminal. And we did this thing where we all sat in the circle and we all went round and give our reasons why, what has driven you to this point, to be literally sat in the bush at 3:30 in the morning, about to go and break into a big oil terminal, like close it down. You know, it's the most beautiful. I wish I could record more in those moments and really immortalise it. Oh,
well,
yeah, I miss actions, you know.
Everyone's got their own reasons for being where they are in the organisation, you know, whether it's arrestable or...
Hear the cries of those who sleep by fighting for the stones. Clear the roads I want to flee. Here's the fire for unknown fate. Hear the cries of those who sleep by fighting for the stones.
So here we go. Our Just Stop Oil stand here. I wonder if anyone from Just Stop Oil would speak to the
Hello.
Big One TV.
Big One TV.
Yeah.
Hello. How are you
Hello.
doing?
Good.
Thanks for coming.
So what brings you down here?
Well, we're here to support our friends in Extinction Rebellion. There's about 100 organisations here today. We're here doing outreach because we're going to be doing slow marches from Monday every day for 2 months right here in London. So we're just here to help support everybody else and show solidarity for the cause against climate change.
So I was actually at a few of the Just Stop Oil actions in the beginning of April last year. I've held a Just Stop Oil banner at various other events and things. I wonder if you could tell us about the movement.
Yeah, of course. Well, Just Stop Oil as an organisation formed to protest against 130 new fossil fuel licences that this government and previous governments...
It's 134 now.
134, yeah. Ludicrous amount. That's obviously dragging us in the wrong direction. We need to be looking at using the 8 to 10 years of reserves that we've got while we transition to renewable energy. So that's our core demand. We have secondary demands such as insulation of British homes paid for by the government, and also the nationalisation of public transport for clean green energy. So there are our main demands. We're getting a lot of support here today. As you mentioned, we've had a few more prominent actions recently. So that's helped to bring people out, but everyone's been really supportive. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, the direct actions that you've been taking certainly do spark the media's interest and get the message communicated. And when people actually read what the demands are, they're very reasonable.
They are, and that's the idea, is to make demands that are so reasonable that the government don't deny us these demands. And when you look at it, it just makes absolute moral, economic and logical sense to cancel these new licences, absolutely.
Yeah, it does. So how do people get involved with Just Stop Oil?
Beg your pardon?
How do people get involved?
How do people get involved? Well, you can come down right here to our stall. You can sign up with us. You can go to juststopoil.org. We've got a sign-up sheet there for the slow marches. If you can't come down, there's plenty of other ways that you can get involved. We've got remote roles that you can find about on the website. If you'd like to make a donation, we're suggesting that people donate 1 hour's wage every month. So whatever you earn in a month, whatever you earn in an hour, donate that every month. And that goes a great way to help and support the cause. Got a lot of people down here. It helps with travel accommodation, food, things like that. We are publicly funded. We're not a massive NGO who have lots of money. So any support would be really appreciated, yeah.
Well, thank you very much for the sacrifices that you make. Like, you are really on the front line of this climate crisis fight for our lives, and it's huge respect for everybody that actually is willing to sacrifice their liberties, their freedoms, to go to prison for this. It means that much that you're willing to risk relationships and jobs. And
absolutely.
But this is the most important issue of our time.
It is. Previous generations have faced similar struggles. We're looking to protect the rights that have been previously hard won and hard fought for, such as process rights. And you're doing a great job as well, in the media, helping to spread that message out. So I'd like to offer my thanks to you as well.
Okay, well, we're going to cut to Just Stop Oil now.
The politicians have been bought. They will not save us.
By licensing new fossil fuels, they are actively planning the death of hundreds of millions of people.
So what are we going to do about it? What can we do today that gives us a better chance of success tomorrow?
History has shown time and time again that sustained, disruptive, non-violent civil resistance is the most effective tool normal people have to force the change we desperately need.
To achieve significant social change, we have to do something that cannot be ignored.
It's time to get real. We are not going to win this in a weekend. We have to keep coming back day after day after day until we win.
Thousands of people are signing up to do the right thing, to slow march from now to the end of this outrage. Sign up at juststopoil.org, or with the people in orange vests here today.
Just
Stop Oil.
So,
yeah, we're back. So, a little bit more about what happened down in London in the last few days. When we got up to Saturday, like I previously mentioned, everyone had been doing slow marches, 7 to 11 and stuff like that. which was really good to see. We did a great solidarity march basically for two amazing activists that Josh and I know, and they're both fantastic people. So
yeah, so Morgan and Marcus scaled the QE2 bridge last October, was it?
October 17th, 2023. 22, sorry.
You know, I love them guys.
Yeah, they're brilliant.
Well, I know Marcus. I knew Morgan personally. Like, he was my friend when I first got involved with Extinction Rebellion. What's it now? I stayed at his house a few times. He put me up in London, so I was, he was a friend of mine, and the funny thing is about Marcus is I never really met Marcus personally, but he was always I saw him a few times. He was at a protest while singing. He was singing his protest songs, and there's actually a video of him on YouTube being pulled down from the bridge singing. If you could just clip that in here.
We are the tongue that speaks the truth. We are the song upon the wind. We are the courage to stand forth. We are the change that now begins. On this good green earth we will take a stand, with an open heart and a healing hand. We are the tongue that speaks the truth. We are the song upon the wind. We are the courage to stand forth. We are the change that now begins. On this good green earth we will take a stand, with an open heart and a healing hand. With an open heart and a healing hand.
Yeah, that's amazing. And to see those clips and the bravery that they had to go up there. Well, I think it's worth mentioning that they've both experienced climbers as well.
Yeah.
So I know that Marcus has this great connection with nature. He likes to climb trees. That's how he first got into climbing. And with Morgan, he's a bridge engineer. So I guess if you're a hands-on kind of engineering,
yeah.
Of fields, you need a head for heights.
He must have.
Terrifying.
He must have known it was safe.
Oh
yeah. Because the amount of cables they had up there, and harnesses. It's been well thought out, that, hasn't it? Really. To try and maximise the safety of people, and ultimately they're doing it for the safety of the people as well. So the fact that they've been given sentences like that is absolutely diabolical. I mean, it just shows the current state of the UK government, really, doesn't it? Like, it's not good.
It's not good at all. 2 years, 7 months, and 3 years respectively is just awful, terrible. They close the road for 36 hours, and that caused disruption. Well, these are peaceful people,
I'm afraid to say, I think there's going to be more of us in prison before we win this fight.
What we've got at the moment, we've got 9 Just Stop All supporters in prison. They're not all for Just Stop All actions at the moment, but there are 9 Just Stop All supporters in prison for various things. That one was quite public. A few of you, if you watch it from the UK, might remember that one on the news last year. That was one of the big Just Stop All sort of actions.
Yeah, I was in prison when I heard about that.
Yeah, it was. So we decided we were going to do this huge solidarity march for Morgan and Marcus on Saturday, and there were hundreds of people there. It was like really well attended, which was like really good.
What date was that?
That was on Saturday last, and after we'd marched down to the park where everyone congregated, we got to speak to them live over a sound system where we were listening to what they had to say, and it was fantastic. We heard testimony from people who'd been in prison with him, and his Max's partner as well made testimony. And then we went on a brilliant march. You know, we talked about maybe sort of 200-300 people out there in solidarity, which was really good to see. You know, great news like that. And then we joined up with the Black Lives Matter rally in front of the Home Office, and we joined forces as a tour de force. Went back through around Parliament Square, and then on to Whitehall, where people finished off with some brilliant testimonies. In fact, I might put a bit of a clip about that right in just now, if that's okay. So those were brilliant scenes to see, like I mentioned. And yeah, if you want to come down, there's going to be another one up and coming, so keep your eye out on the justuphold.org website.
It's going to be continuous, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. At the moment, people are between 7 and 11 every weekday, 12 o'clock on a Saturday. But also, we're going to have these continued marches specifically about Morgan and Marcus and their case. I know that Amnesty are getting involved with the case as well. They're obviously going to appeal, and yeah, I guess we'll just have to wish them the best of luck with all of that. So, what do you think about it all, Josh?
I think we need to increase the pressure on them, the government. I think we need more people in the streets. I think we need more people blocking the streets and in the police cells and in the prison cells. I think we need to just absolutely overwhelm them with pure numbers. And
you said worried about more people spending time in prison. Obviously, that was a very public and escalated action. What are you concerned as I am about the second attempt to get legislation through that stops protesters unfairly?
I think
this week as well.
I think these slow marches, they've been great whilst we've had them, but come on, nobody really expected them to stay legal for that long. We're going to have to go back to breaking the law again.
Well, they're going to try and make them illegal anyway, so that might happen by default. You know, if they just stop all carrying.
Well, what if we just have just loads of them, more than they can arrest?
Yeah. But anyway, that was great to see. Great showing of solidarity, and this is the first time that we've done a proper official march during this action phase with Black Lives Matter. There could be a lot more to come. Who knows? Yeah. And well, how long could we go on about it? You know, absolute affront to justice about the length of their sentences. Show them. Well, I do know that.
There's one guest I'm looking forward to getting on the show. Is my friend Lex. Have you heard of Lex?
Go on.
Well, she's like she gives like legal advice to legal counsel to basically Just Stop Oil and the climate movement. She runs CASPs, which is like Climate Action Legals. I don't know what it stands for, but she's very clued up on the law, and you want to hear her opinions, mate, about the state of the British law system at the minute and the way it's going. Like, she's a very intelligent girl, and she's going to be a repeating guest on this show. So you'll meet her at some point.
Obviously, because in real activism, a lot of people spend a lot of time skirting around the edges of the law, or sometimes breaking it. There's been talked about quite a lot so far. So, yeah, that's amazing work. You know, you really have to keep your eye on the current legal situation with what we're doing, because they're always out to try and, you know, stop us. And I've seen MPs stand up in the House of Commons and suggest that we've become a prescribed group, you know, the same way that they treat terrorists, which we're obviously not. You know, these are just ordinary people.
Yeah.
You know, they're stepping forward. They're coming from being passive to active, because we're not going to get through this by sending the right tweets or writing the right poems or songs and just passing those around between people who are already, you know, well into supporting stuff against climate change. I don't want to say, well, preaching to the converted, really. So it's about getting active. It's about getting on the streets.
Mate, you need to see how many trolls have been getting on TikTok since I've been putting these 1 minute videos on, like talking about preaching to the not converted, right? I get about 1 million comments saying that climate change isn't even real and it's all a hoax and we're funded by George Soros, and you know,
And the latest one, I think, which is equally at least ridiculous as that one. What is it? That we fund the Labour Party as if we've got a lot more money than the Labour Party. An environmental organisation, just over a year old, and it's pathetic, really. That's it.
It's an attempt at the right wing media to kind of, you know, soil our name in a way. I heard that all the people that were again, you know, I don't like using the term anti-vaxxer because I feel like it's a very broad brush, but all the people who got deep in the conspiracies of anti-vaxxers, I heard that they were sending those people information saying that climate change was a hoax.
Well, we've all heard those ridiculous things about it being a hoax. When I talk to a lot of people, first of all, the challenge is getting over explaining the name of it. They think just a all of all, but then you go on to these other theories and things. And, I think it's not to do with solar flares and the activity of the sun or natural things, global warming and climate change. These feedback loops that we're heading towards, because it's statistically demonstrative that human activity has caused 10 times more CO2 than just natural geothermal processes and other natural processes, and the effects of the sun are even lower still than that. So,
well, I brought up the TikTok thing because you said about preaching to the converted, and with TikTok, I've been able to reach thousands of people who, you know, they're still under the delusion, whatever delusion they might have, but it's become. I think it's a really good way of reaching the masses, to be honest.
what do you think, in your opinion? Because there's a lot of armchair critics, aren't they? They have their excuses for staying either as, they're in soft denial, or for whatever excuse they've used not to do anything about it. What do you think is the most common thing that people say when they you should do this instead? What do you think?
Well, just to think it's very varied, you see, because some people say, well, why don't you try and do something in your community, like, you know, get a group together so you can all work together to go litter picking, or why don't you try and start a charity, or why don't you try and become a millionaire so you can then fix a problem with money, and all those ideas are just inadequate when you compare them to the scale of the climate crisis.
Yeah, that's right.
Which we need to completely restructure the economy of the planet, and literally change the priorities of every country on Earth. Like, what are the priorities of a country, right? To keep itself safe from other countries so it's not invaded, to make money for its wealthy elite and to feed its population. That's maybe that's maybe like oversimplifying it, but the priority needs to be now to protect and preserve the living world, the earth, nature, and to provide a high standard of living for all of humanity. And with just those two priorities in place, you could build a world around those two priorities where nature and people are protected above all else, above profit.
Yeah, it's paramount. And the way that we turned society around to fight the pandemic, or pandemics even, and yeah, that attitude needs to be applied towards climate change. And whether you think these words will be inspirational or not, our new sovereign, the King, who's due to be crowned soon, King Charles, said that we should have a warlike footing on taking action against climate change. So this government needs to listen to that and get out there and do something to the same.
You see, they said about a warlike footing.
Don't mess it up as much as they did in the pandemic, otherwise we'll always screw. Sorry, dude, can I just finish this?
Yeah, go on.
So that brings me on to saying one of the most common things I've heard people say we do instead of what we're doing recently has been, why don't we try to get elected? Now, that all comes down to whether you do or don't believe what Keir Starmer's promised, even though all the opposition parties have said that they'll adopt our demands of no new fossil fuel licences. Not a lot of people are entirely convinced that should Keir Starmer win the next election, which I'm not saying he's guaranteed to do it, that should be taken as given if that'll be put in. But the point is that politics is just so bloody slow. And I'm a member of a small grassroots party myself. The chances of us forming a political party and getting elected before the tipping points and the action that needs to be taken happens before those tipping points, hopefully, is not going to come politically in the sense of getting elected. We are not going to get elected before the shit hits the fan.
Well, we've also got a two-party. We've only got two parties. You can only have two. It's either Labour or Conservative.
Exactly. The way things are politically in this country, still using first past the post as a system. It took 900,000 votes for the Green Party just to get one seat. And guess what? Now they have to pour most of their resources into that seat just to hold it. And that actually holds back their candidates in other areas. So that's the way politics works. They need to, funnel a lot of money into that seat to hold Caroline Lucas's seat in Brighton. And smaller parties like the Green Party are generally forced into doing things like that because of this ridiculous voting system that we still have. So, no, we're not going to be able to get elected. And this is the only option, and no one can ever really give us a better solution. Whenever we ask them that, might be passers by the street. If you do bother to read the comments on social media or whatever and choose to respond to them, I don't really pay attention to the horrible trolls rather than try and engage in an intelligent conversation with people about it. I don't know about you, but these just aren't, the things they're suggesting are either not viable, and when you ask them for a better solution, they just generally get stumped anyway.
Yeah.
But it's got to stop. I mean, it's taken us, down this whole path against democracy and rights to protest, and a lot of the things that we have that a lot of people take for granted now. 40-day working week, you get holidays, you get a weekend. Those, never used to be things. People didn't really get those things by voting. They got by taking political action.
That's right.
Streets and putting their bodies on the line. How many countless examples could we use of trade unions coming together and the suffragettes and all these other great people who've had to fight for the rights down the decades. So it's the same. It's the same with climate change. It really is. And someday something might happen where they want to protest against it, and the people who think this legislation should be put through just to sort of get rid of us is going to be put back in their faces whenever they want to protest about something, you know.
But the way can I say this to people, right? So they're bringing out these new laws to stop us climate change protesters, right? And you might think that's not a problem for you because you don't really protest at the minute, so it's not really affecting you. But then one day, like 5 years down the line, after we're all in prison for protesting, the government could turn up and say, right, guys, yeah, we're shutting down the NHS. Sorry if you've got any appointments booked, but it's being sold now to America. Deal with it. And you all go out crazy trying to protest in the streets. And then they come out and say, oh, no, sorry. Remember, we made all that protesting illegal now. You're not allowed to protest anymore. That's when you'll realise that your freedoms were taken. They were taken without you realising. My right to protest is your right to protest. Our right to protest is their right to protest. We are the people, and we should be able to protest our government without being sent to prison.
If we had a room full of 1,000 people, we asked them to raise their hands if they thought the governments during their entire lifetimes had never gotten a call wrong or made a bad decision or implemented a policy or law or bill that they didn't agree with, you won't see a single arm raised. Everybody has something that they have disagreed with that the government have legislated, and it could be anything from bloody, poll tax, which is now just rebranded as council tax, going back to more recent stuff, whether you do or don't agree that we should have stayed in the European Union. There was obviously a lot of protest involved with that, whether you do or don't agree with it, or if the vote had gone the other way. And, all these examples recently of people, whether you agree with the protest or not, like you mentioned, anti-vaccination stuff. I think these people, that's a form of protest that I don't agree with. I'm vaccinated, isn't it? I think that a lot of the people, are completely deluded in this pseudoscience.
Now, can I stop you there for a sec?
Protest in the street, the same way as any, but that's the point. You do or don't agree with it, and I'm not going to get too much into which kinds of protest I do or don't agree with. Yeah, people need to realise that really fundamentally, as well as it's paramount the fact that we have no other choice. So talk more about that and give one bit more about that, like why we don't have any choice, like why just methods were quite unique, non-violent heritage.
Yeah. Your signal sounds a bit weak at times, but that's okay because we've got the audio at both ends. God, can I tell you what I'm really missing out on? Elvis? I wish I was able to go and do these slow marches. I'd be down there. I'd be down in London all the time now, if I could. I've got a GPS. What?
Just explain a little bit more about why you can't do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing now. So I've got a GPS tag on my ankle, and I'm not allowed to head south. Basically, I'm not allowed to. I can only go in Lancashire and Greater Manchester, and if I leave that area, they'll come and track me down and throw me in prison. And all the actions are going to be taking place in London, so that means I can't go to them. And, I was one of the ones who was shutting down the M25 3 days a week, so I'm quite keen to get down to London. I'm a little bit restricted right now with this fucking GPS tag I've got on my ankle. This one right here.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. And
Yeah, don't be too gutted because it's like still I'm doing another free plug here. Still local marches going on, like all over the UK, continuously. The regions are going to be this cycle. It could be relentless.
Elvis.
It's June.
Elvis. There's a video that I want to share with everybody watching the podcast up until now, and all right, cool. Well, we'll do that when we come back. But basically, there's a video that I've been wanting to share with everybody. It's a video of Extinction Rebellion from Waterloo Bridge in 2019, when Extinction Rebellion closed down the bridge outside Parliament. And it comes with a song. There's only 4 lines in it, and it's very. I'm not going to sing it to you. I'm going to play it for you in a second when Elvis comes back. Yeah, it shows people like literally blocking the roads outside Parliament and making a huge self-sacrifice. They just, in doing that to try and highlight this problem. Well, I remember when I first saw this video, I'd signed up for Insulate Britain, and I was on a construction site, so I'm a bricklayer, and it was like the last 20 minutes of the day, and I'm just cleaning up after myself, sweeping up the bits of chipped brick and concrete and stuff to make it all clean. And this video had been shared in a group chat for my local Insulate Britain block team, and it was on YouTube. So I just opened it and found a quiet corner. I watched it for a second, and I actually, got quite emotional watching it because seeing these brave men and women, sit down outside on one of the most famous, busiest bridges in London outside the Parliament building and say, no, we are not going to move. We are not going to move. We are not going to comply until, you start treating this like an emergency. Which is quite, it's like defiance. It's saying, no, I'm not going anywhere. Oh, you're going to arrest me? Okay, arrest me. Oh, you're going to throw me in prison? Okay, throw me in prison. Right. I've just been talking a bit about the video and what it means to me, and I want you to cut it right here.
Change is coming, we are few, but we are strong. Time's been wasted, and we haven't got too long. Mother's dying, we can feel it in our bones. So we're rebelling on a system that is wrong. Change is coming, we are few, but we are strong. Time's been wasted, and we haven't got too long. Mother's dying, we can feel it in our bones. So we're rebelling on a system that is wrong. Change is coming, we are few, but we are strong. Time's been wasted, and we haven't got too long. Mother's dying, we can feel it in our bones. So we're rebelling on a system that is wrong. Change is coming, we are few, but we are strong. Time's been wasted, and we haven't got too long. Mother's dying, we can feel it in our bones. So we're rebelling on a system that is wrong. Change is coming, we are but we are strong. Time's been wasted and we haven't got too long. Mother's dying, we can feel it in our bones. So we're rebelling on a system that is wrong. Change is coming, we are few but we are strong. Time's been wasted and we haven't got too long. Mother's dying, we can feel it in our bones. So we're rebelling on a system that is wrong.
And we can play again from now it's over. So yeah, that's a really powerful piece, that, and I hope Extinction Rebellion won't mind us using their video. I can't see Extinction Rebellion trying to sue us. Trying to get it would be, wouldn't it? Well, if we ever do get a lawsuit from Extinction Rebellion, then we really do know that the movement has died.
No, they've actually been really supportive. In fact, today I think they officially announced that they are going to support just all slow marches and asking people to join. So that was good. A lot of people thought that because of the difference in tactics, there would be a lot of friction between the two groups, but we know that we need this phrase, back to survive, obviously. And it's May Day, actually. We're recording this in May Day, which is the International Day of people coming together, socialists together. I think that's really good of them. So, yeah. It's up to us. Right.
I'm looking forward to seeing, but this so this audio, this episode is an experimental episode, isn't it, Elvis?
A little bit, but I think it's going well so far.
Yeah, it is. We're If you've noticed something different about this episode, it's because we're trying to record the audio on both ends to bring you a better experience as the viewer.
Yes, comes through in a bit better quality.
Yeah.
Got some background decoration going on. said, those holiday pictures there, just so everybody knows.
We've done about Ellis, so
shots.
we've done about an hour now in total. So should we round it off there? The last few minutes.
Yeah, well, just do thanks for one and do social media and stuff.
Well, okay, so if you've liked what you've seen so far on this channel, on this video, then please subscribe to our YouTube channel and drop a like on the video. It helps us out quite a lot. If you're an activist and you're in the climate community, or you're Animal Rebellion, or you've done any kind of protesting whatsoever, or you're just a concerned citizen, then please email us at activismuncensored@gmail.com and request to come on the show, because we're still quite a new show and we could probably fit you on. So we can also apply to be on the show if you disagree with what we've said. We should be interviewing people who disagree with us as well, to give you, the viewers, the fullest spectrum of conversation. I personally don't think you can get rid of bad ideas by censoring them. I think you get rid of bad ideas by talking about them, about having them debated and discussed and analysed and broken down into their fundamental parts, and then only then can people make up their own mind. And that is the power of the podcast. That is why we started this. And anything you want to say to finish off?
Yeah, that's happened. We have had critics who have now got on board that totally understand where we're coming from. And I'll just give a couple of quick examples. We say on social media, we've had people who have tried to pull our supporters out of the road and turned around and seen what we're really about, seen what climate change is all about. And we've had people who've involved in disruption in traffic and stuff that have seen why we're doing it and how it's important. So yeah, anyone whatever the chances might be, however small it might be, of actually getting someone on the show, reach out to us. If you want to, we don't mean in troll sense. If you want to have an intelligent conversation, we're up for that. So leave a message on the YouTube channel, like email us at activismcensored@gmail.com. And yeah, we want that conversation. And this can be a platform to demonstrate that we can be standing. We can't have too many agree to disagree, because this is something that we all have to agree on as an issue. It's that this is the paramount thing that people need to be talking about right now. So yeah, we've got TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, obviously, whatever format you're watching this on. Hopefully we're going to be branching into more areas. So yeah, just look out for it like that. Anything else you want to say quick, Josh?
Please subscribe to our channel.
Yeah, just blast that one. So that's another episode of Activism Uncensored. We'll come back soon because there's a lot going on. We're just up our and other organisations, as we said, this time. So we'll see you